For the record, my name is Christine Saunders, and I'm the Policy Director with the Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada, here in opposition to Senate Bill 1. We spent the last few months in Carson City discussing an unprecedented state budget and the opportunity to fund education higher than ever before. And yet once again, we are talking about a stadium scam in a special session, a risky corporate welfare proposal that will leave Nevada taxpayers on the hook, rather than revenue and funding programs Nevadans need. We don't do this for regular people in Nevada. Meanwhile, we are telling corporations to come here and we'll foot the bill. The Nevada way is always business first at the expense of what our communities need most, like public transit, high-quality education, tenants' rights, safe air quality, and health care. We are not opposed to good-paying union jobs or diversifying Nevada's economy, but we shouldn't have to be giving tax incentives and handouts to billionaires to do so. It is irresponsible of the state to prioritize new corporate development over the needs of Nevadans. If the A's want to come to Nevada, they are more than welcome to on their own dime, but it's time for the state of Nevada to prioritize what Nevadans are asking for. We urge you to oppose this bill. Thank you.
Senator Cannizzaro, members of our state Senate, my name is Steve Pastorino, Pastorino, and I live in Senator Dondero Loop's district. But from 2014 to 2018, I was a senior executive for the Oakland Athletics, living in Oakland, California. I worked for Dave Cavil and 2 desks over from Catherine Aker. There are so many holes in what the A's are trying to sell us that I can't cover it in 2 minutes, but just a few. First of all, the walking, talking bobblehead known as Dave Cavil can't even answer Senator Donate's questions today about whether the A's will participate in the live entertainment tax. You cannot trust Dave Cavil. My former colleague, Catherine Aker, is sent here to do John Fisher's bidding, meekly offering $1 million in community support. How many fields does $1 million build? Those of us who are in Clark County who have seen our high schools redo all their football fields in recent years, $1 million is a drop in the bucket. The A's community programs are a joke in Oakland, and they're going to be no better here in Las Vegas. When asked by Senator Flores how much time, money, and effort the A's put into developing or drafting one player, no one could answer because the A's representatives aren't here talking to you. Well, the answer is years and years and millions of dollars, and yet they're going to try and cram a $380 million stadium scam in 10 days before us. Please, I urge you to give this more proper consideration. It will not be priced for Vegas families. And lastly, the smallest modern Major League Baseball park is in downtown Minneapolis. It sits on 8.5 acres. The A's have 9 acres. There is no land left over for ancillary development to generate tax revenue to pay these bills that are going to accumulate over the next 30 years. Again, there are so many holes in this proposal. Las Vegas is built on philanthropists and families with great integrity and history and tradition in this town. The Gahn family, the Boyds, Kerkorian, et cetera. I could go on and go on. My last question is, where is John Fisher? Where the hell is John Fisher? The corner of Tropicana and Las Vegas Boulevard is great real estate. It's a great place for a ballpark. I'd love to see Major League Baseball in my town. John Fisher does not need a penny of our dollars.
And if you could go ahead and wrap it up.
To get them here. I'd love to wrap it up, and I'd also love to join a stadium advisory board if there's an opportunity. You need someone who knows what's going on inside the A's front office.
If you could please go ahead and put the rest of your comments in writing. Thanks.
Good evening, Chairwoman and members of the committee, including Senator Cole. For the record, my name is Annette Magnus, and I'm the Executive Director of Battleborn Progress, here today in opposition of SB1. We have been very consistent on this issue over the years, and by the way, I am born and raised in Las Vegas, and we have mobilized our 22,000 plus subscribers today who live in Nevada against this bill. I have joked as I come to the end of my time with Battleborn Progress that this has been like the Eras tour of all the worst ideas I have seen in this building. But this specific walk down memory lane might just be the worst for me. I was standing right here in this exact spot in 2016 when Allegiant Stadium was rammed through in a very similar fashion during a special session. Somehow, though, reading this bill, we have managed to bring forward an even worse deal than the last one. And now we have wasted taxpayer dollars, thanks to the governor, twice in a week with 2 special sessions. This deal will leave taxpayers on the hook because, as you heard, there are no new revenue sources to back these bonds. I don't care how anyone tries to spin this. The A's are a failure of a team and should not be given our tax dollars when their owner is a billionaire and doesn't need this cash. We look at the deal Just look at the deal the same owner went back on with the Quakes and the stadium that the public built for them. They are still last in their league and have not invested in the team as promised, even with their new stadium. We have been here before. I've seen this in my entire life in this state. We went through this with the Legion Stadium, and I hate to break it to you, but the Raiders are still a losing team, and their record has gotten worse since they moved to Las Vegas. And they still make UNLV pay to use it, which is a joke. The bill is just another example of this, and like I said in 2016, if this team wants to build a stadium, their billionaire owner can build it with his own money. I would like to know why the A's management is hiding in the gallery today and not down here fully answering questions to why they deserve our tax money, especially after the same management has previously been quoted ripping public funding for
Ms. Magnus,
stadiums.
if you could wrap it up.
Yep. I will end by saying this. I am an avid sports fan. I grew up watching baseball with my dad. On Saturday, I was at the first Stanley Cup game that the Knights won. Not only are they an actual winning team, but they also somehow managed to play in a privately funded facility. Imagine that. I urge you to vote no for this scam. Thank you.
Alex Rodriguez for the record, R-O-D-R-I-G-U-E-S. I'm also in Melanie Scheibel's district. I oppose SB 31. If billion-dollar corporations, the A's, the casinos, utility companies, CEOs, stockholders, we all know that in this town they have the money to invest. If they really believe in this project will be profitable, why don't they invest it in themselves? If potential investors are cheap and possibly don't see value in this for themselves, then what makes the public believe this is a value to us? The taxpayers involved here, there is no trust from the people about who the contractors will be, which union workers or non-union workers will get the jobs. The cost of supplies, the cost of labor, the cost usually tends to be a little higher sometimes than projected. For example, whenever tax dollars are involved, sometimes the quality of union workers are not the best of the construction. Just for example, like the Yankee Stadium, it had structural concrete issues. Look at the Washington Redskins Stadium, the FedEx Field. It's had structural issues on their upper middle levels and their higher levels with pipage leakage, concrete structurals, all kinds of damage that lack of the construction from the workers. Take a look at an example of public funding projects that have failed. San Francisco 49ers Stadium, projected to be $700,000 to be cost. It ended up being $1.3 billion. City of Detroit, they went bankrupt after they built the Lions Stadium. The St. Louis Rams and the Miami Marlins, both cities are still on the hook with the tax dollars. Actually, the city of Miami is actually in default of the payments of their stadium right now that was built. We all know privatization always works because we will get the quality of workers of their choice, the quality contractors, the quality supplies, and get the stadium built in a faster, timely manner if the A's and investors have to worry about the tab, not the taxpayers. I am in strong belief that if the A's will come along with the jobs, that the people who testified earlier in support regardless, if we tell them no, it worked for the San Francisco Giants, the Boston teams. They have their own privately funded arenas and stadiums, the LA Rams and Chargers.
If you could please go ahead and wrap it up.
Okay. Go get private investors. Stay out of our pockets. This is a project of failure. Let the private investors fail. If they're profitable, then let them have the profits. We, the taxpayers, are fine.
He's next in Las Vegas.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Eric Zhang, here on behalf of One API Nevada and Asian Community Development Council. First, I want to acknowledge, yes, this will create good paying union jobs and also a great opportunity for API small business in our community. And I also believe that the wisdom, if you build it, they will come. However, as grassroots advocate and representative of provider of direct services for our most underserved members of our community, I'm here in opposition due to how the current community benefits agreement is written. Although from the last hearing until now, we do see that one more slide for more of the intent. It is encouraging in its intent, but we would like to see greater community involvement with accountability and specificity written in statute that support our most marginalized community in a meaningful way. For that to see community-based return on investment, we're also in opposition because if we cannot write it in statute because it will lock in and not be adaptable, then the current language of 5 years review and update should be shortened to more frequent intervals. If the same argument, So like annually or 2 years to report to this legislature that will be more nimble, adaptable, accountable, and equitable to the to Nevadans. So I urge you to oppose for how it's currently written. Thank you.
I'm glad this party has been extended. Beautiful weather outside. This is really a regressive mood. Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Cyrus Hojadi. We've seen the Allegiant plan and how it was short on its promise. I oppose this is because I don't want the Tropicana Hotel to be replaced. I'm not a fan of its location. The senators made very good points. Krasner about taxes, Pat Spearman about other priorities we should have. The veterans housing was a really good one. I didn't know about that. There's other investments we can do, particularly in transit. When I was at the Target protest last weekend, both sides agree that that's a good idea. I'm concerned about parking because remember, after the Golden Knights was built, they started to charge for parking. I'm concerned, yes, about another COVID era. Let's talk about the jabs. The two senators talked about it. People from all over the aisle have talked about stadium subsidy issues, such as John Stossel, John Oliver. Not to mention, you talk about taxes funding this. Room taxes, which people are paid through Siegel Suites. Senator Neal brought up this. This is a regressive tax. A lot of low-income people live there, and they also use ride-sharing programs because they don't have a car. When we also talk about subsidies, for a lot of different industries, subsidies for food and transportation is not the same as stadium because these are necessities. Entertainment is not something we need to live and survive. And I believe this is just a desperate approach to pump up the economy, to gouge prices, and it's perhaps another reason why we need to restructure our local government. But other than that, I will ditto all the other excellent testimonies. Great to see that we have a lot of agreements, and I will yield my time. I hope this session continues. Enjoy this.